Fire away.
Hello, hello. Welcome, all you holes and pulls out there. Thank you for joining our first Come With Us podcast that we are doing actually on camera. So, again, bear with us. We're losing our virginity here. Thanks for helping us pop our cherry. But today on Come With Us podcast, we are talking all about the CES, Consumer Electronics Show of 2022, and all of the different sexy vibrators and toys and props that they've got there, and what the heck it took for finally 2022 for sexy things to go mainstream. So glad you're here. Welcome, Tina and Aaron. I am so excited. I know you guys are very eager to talk about some of these things that caught our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
eventually we
definitely
need to go to this thing, but planning
Yeah.
and all these stupid regulations and crap. Yeah. So maybe in 2023 we will be.
That's a good goal for us. I like that. We can
Yeah.
have it kick off our tour of all sorts of things, including because some of the porn shows and stuff
Yeah.
are in January as well. So we can just go bounce from one sexy show to another sexy show. Good goals.
Yeah. And I also think that with like CES specifically, it's expanding sex and health every year. So, I think that it's getting much more prominent at the show than it used to be. So,
Yeah. Well, Tina, you want to give them a little bit of a history of what happened? Because this kind of the fuss started, if you will, in 2019.
Yeah. So sex toys or sex companies have kind of always been allowed, but under like the health and wellness category. And in 2019, there's a company that submitted it under the robotics category specifically also, and they won. And it was this.
Which category did they win in?
They won in like the robotics innovation category, and not in like the sex or health and wellness part. But also that didn't have its own specific category either. It was just under health and wellness. But they won, and then they rescinded the award because they said it didn't really fit the robotics standards. It was this company called they're pretty famous.
Lara DiCarlo.
Lara DiCarlo. And she made this with like in accordance, like this year their tech is like they have collaborated with Oregon State's like robotics laboratory and stuff, but in the past, like she developed these with people who are like engineers and stuff. But it's this vibrator that is like literally uses like microbiology and robotics to like fit your vagina. Like this one person did a review on it where like she said it felt like a robot was up there, but it's like a very specific, very expensive piece of tech that's supposed to give you like this great orgasm or like really stimulate like, a real orgasm. Anyways, they submitted, they won, but they took it away because it wasn't considered like robotics. And then they like appealed and they actually ended up giving them the award back. So then after that, since 2019, they've now developed like a sex and wellness like tech category for these companies in and of itself. So now they have, their own category. And I think like there's a lot more, people who are now submitting and having expos and a lot more tech that's going to come out of this.
Because it was just kind of a sham, right? The judges thought there was lots of robotics. That's why they gave the award.
Right.
And it was only then that the CES got so much publicity. And it's a combination of suction and vibrator. So it sucks on the clitoris as well as has an insertable that vibrates. And so that particular item got so much press that then I don't know what happened to the the board and stuff, but that was
because it was too quote unquote obscene for like the robotics category. So
right, which is fairly ridiculous. But yeah, so basically they were like, oh my God, we are promoting, God forbid, sex, and they rescinded the award. And then there was real outcry about it, so much so that they did give it back, which is pretty amazing.
And then created a new category called sex tech.
Right, which isn't that amazing, because it's kind of like like, okay, we're still going to segregate you. We're going to put you in this one little area now and keep you in there because, gosh forbid, you should beat something else out. Or the fact is sexy is still, it's a, what, 40, I don't know, $13 billion industry or something in this world. Like it's amazing how much money goes into sexy. And it's amazing how much technology has come from the sexy world into the other realms because there's been so much money. Like the Oculus, the video VR glasses and things like that. So much of that started because of porn stuff and then gets translated in. So
especially with Meta now becoming like the thing, y'all know, like the Metaverse, everyone's talking about it, like Facebook and everything. I feel like we're like totally gonna be entering like a whole new realm of like sex and like virtual reality and like there was like I saw a video on TikTok the other day like making fun of like someone cheating on their partner in like the Metaverse,
I was just thinking, of course that's gonna happen.
Yeah, obviously, like, so with that, I'm sure there'll be a ton of like very interesting and very probably weird too.
Yeah. Well, that's like those sex robots that you could, they wanted to have the sex robot rental, sex dolls and stuff. So yeah, the sex doll brothel. That's right. Right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be here in town.
Yeah. Yeah. And they chased that away under, they couldn't even do it. They couldn't find an appropriate law. So what they did was they made getting permits for the space. That's all. They just made it a bureaucratic nightmare for them. And that's how they chased them away. So it's we really have to come to terms with our versions of sexy and stuff. So but so what happened? So in 2019, then they started and there was this big uproar about that one particular item winning the prize. Then in 2000, I think it was also maybe in 2019, 2020, another manufacturer of vibrators and feminine like pleasure products, if you will, they actually sued the New York Transit Association because they wanted to have ads placed in subways about their vibrators, and they were turned down. And they argued again that there were ads on the subways for Viagra or men's enhancement things and for testosterone clinics and all these other sexual well-being issues. And why is it that somehow a vibrator, which just because it's about female sexuality and orgasm and pleasure, why should that be banned? And that was a big deal. And they've recently been successful on that front too. So I think that's kind of cool. So again, this is making things go mainstream. Yeah, which I think is good. What would you do, Aaron, if you got on a subway and you saw an ad for vibrators?
I would look past it because I just like everything else, be like, oh, okay. Like you realize that my drive every day, my commute to my regular job, I pass 2 or 3 different billboards for different adult boutiques around the town. So it's like now it's all white noise or whatever you would call it for a visual. But I mean, it wouldn't really, unless it was something to specifically catch my attention, I probably wouldn't even notice it was there.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know if you remember, but it used to be that it wasn't okay to advertise like tampons and maybe feminine pads were okay. Like that, getting those ads on TV was even this big struggle. Gosh knows when. It's just, and toilet paper has been advertised on TV for gosh knows how long. So I think it's a little crazy, but anyway. All right. Well, so you want to talk about, some of the things that they are now showing at CES?
Yeah.
All right.
Aaron, you start off. Anything interesting that caught your eye?
I mean, there's a whole lot of different freaking fancy stuff. This is my thing, is that how much of this extra time that these engineers and stuff put into building these would have gone into making something different that might have, stopped a bus from running off a cliff or something like that.
Well, yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I get it. I get it. Women's are more difficult to achieve, but for guys, I mean, we were born with the 2 best fucking tools. So you don't you might want to go and make something like that. Fine, cool. Hey, we made a Fleshlight. That didn't take a whole lot of engineering. but
Oh, that's
nothing
actually
beats
not true though.
the thought process.
No, for the Fleshlight, the reason that that got so popular was not the general concept, right? Which is, oh, put
No,
something
but I'm just
around
talking
the
about the
cock and
general
stroke.
concept.
But it's the texture, it's the
Yeah,
material
I'm
and the
I'm
way
just
that
talking
it
about the general
feels and
concept of the
everything.
engineering.
Yeah,
I mean, you
but
could
I
say
think
that about any
engineering,
innovator, any innovation.
yeah,
Like you could stop and say, like, oh, the smartphone, it works. It uses email. We can
right.
search the web. Why are we innovating the smartphone? Like with the same with tech. Like I think especially with Corona, like you're now seeing tech. Like a lot of it's like virtual, and also like it's allowing, like especially in like the sex toy industry, it's allowing for people to be in two separate places and also enjoy like a sexual experience with each other, which I think Corona is like heavily influenced. So like with every
Yeah,
other tech innovation, sex also has to like evolve and like meet the needs of people. Like, you could be quarantining in London while your partner's in New York and you want like a really intimate experience. Well, these apps provide it, where vibrators can now like control, it's very hands-on, like, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, and
So
I think that's one of the big product areas that is showing up at CES and is changing in all the boutiques that you see the signs for, Aaron, and stuff, is those the the vibrators or whatever sort of sexy pleasure props that are controlled or interconnected via
mhm.
internet and website. And that started
Yeah, I mean,
several years ago, but
yeah,
now
I
it's
don't have
definitely
anything
taking
against
off.
them. I just think that like to me, it's overwhelming because there is a plethora, and they just keep coming out with new and new and new and new and new. Like I don't have the brain
Yeah.
power to go sifting through every single thing that's new on every I mean, you just said it yourself. Tech. I mean, I work in radio, broadcast engineering. I get new freaking tech emails all the time, and this is
Yeah.
new. And hey, have you checked out this product? I don't have enough time to do it on every single aspect of my life. That's just
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, and that's it. So we each pick the sort of our areas that we like, because there are some people who get excited every time a new video game comes out, and they are
And
like, "Oh, these graphics are so much better." And I've never been into video games, so I couldn't tell you one from the other.
I don't know. I feel like my my thought process on this part is like because I've seen them come out with like a new sexy tech object, but then all of a sudden, okay, cool, we've got the new thing that nobody else has. Great. It's $300 for this one piece of tech, and then 9 months out of later, the entire company goes belly up because guess what? People aren't spending $300 to have an orgasm, especially most guys, because guess what? Free. My hands are free.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
true,
but
because this year is
mm,
the first year that they've had men's sexual health as a category at CES, which previously has been absent. So they
That's
obviously
fine.
have demand for men's sexual health.
they do.
But
And
all these
in
all these
fact,
companies trying to get in there and startups and stuff like that, hey, if I buy something, cool, what's the actual odds? And I feel like companies that make sex toys, it's much more likely that they're just going to disappear off the map within a year or 2 years.
No
Whereas,
way. There's so
okay,
uh-uh,
many obscure, expensive
no.
tech stuff that like people just like, you can browse the internet and find like weird stuff to buy for $300, like things that find your golf balls, things
I'm
that
not saying
like
that you can't.
Yeah. So, and I think actually by the time there probably are people that are working on their own sexy things at home, and you never even hear about those. Those go belly up like quietly. By the time anything hits a shop, basically, or more than one, right? Unless it's somebody's best friend and they just have one demo or something, then it has been tested and
right.
tested and tested and stuff, because it is not easy to get all of these different retailers to carry it. And that's so love sense, Lovense or something. A lot of these companies, what they do is they're selling directly to consumers to start with. So that's where, if you buy something directly from a manufacturer and they're not sold in retail shops, then you're right, Aaron. Then that might be, those haven't been really tested that well, and they're trying to get their footing, and they're going to end up having to make some revisions and things to get out there, I think. But once it hits the point where it's hit a retail shop, I promise it is pretty
Mhm.
damn reliable,
And I'm
because it
and
takes
it's
it takes so much money to
Yeah,
get
that's
there.
what I was about to say. They
Yeah.
have to raise so much capital to even like get like the R&D that must go into all this, just like the huge amount of like, user data, user research, like design, all that kind of stuff that goes into these things, like any other tech company. And then to exhibit at SCS is like, and in and of itself, such like a huge honor that these companies are probably, you know, one, I think a lot of these companies are probably like they've developed other sex technology that has worked in the past, or they have other, you know, so they're innovating in other areas, or, you know, they do have something that's like really like this V patch thing. We should really talk about this.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is really cool.
Right.
So this is not the first year that they've exhibited, because I saw this in their 2020. I think it was the same company, but basically it's this patch that you put on. It's like, I would say the size, it's like an inch by an inch, it looks like, that you put between on your gooch, so like between your balls and your anus.
That men do. Is it really
men
a
do, yeah.
patch or is it like a little clip? Can you tell how it attaches? Because I couldn't
It
quite
looks
figure
to
that out.
me like it's it looks to me like it's more like a wearable skin patch, scientifically engineered to delay. So basically, it's scientifically engineered to delay ejaculation.
Okay, and they did that.
Yes, but
I
how does
read
it
just
stay attached?
yeah, that's what I wondered
So,
is how it
and
stays
actually, funnily
attached.
enough, it's FDA approved. It's the world's first and only FDA cleared wearable skin patch, scientifically engineered to delay ejaculation.
And so, and they're doing that by controlling how much stimulation goes on the nerves and stuff. So they're basically sort of limiting the sensation, I think, so that you don't get too excited, I guess is the term.
There's an app.
The FDA approval, that's where so many things and so many different items are trying to get FDA approval, because when they get FDA approval, they can get covered by insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big clincher there. And that's where there's so much money involved. So once they get FDA approval, they can get more funding. And then they go bigger, which is
this seems like something that could definitely be like a real health need that could be covered by, like, that could come under the umbrella of insurance company. Like, you need this kind of tech to help you.
Yeah.
Just like Viagra or something.
Right. And I love that. So there's Viagra, there's this, but the fact is, what about women, right? There are so many women that struggle and struggle and struggle to have an orgasm. And yet there's not a vibrator that is covered by insurance. There aren't dilators that are covered by insurance that help us like stretch out and allow for penetration. So while the FDA is okay with dealing with, oh, men have a hard time getting an orgasm, they completely overlook the fact or ignore the effort that women have to go through. And that, again, just seems kind of like bullshit and whatever. But that's just
so here's more about the patch. It's wearable, and it stimulates the muscles and the nerves, and it's controlled by an app, and you push a button on your phone to turn on. It inhibits the rhythmic muscle contractions when ejaculation is delayed, and it can be applied hours before intercourse. So, and it'll be available to purchase in the fall.
Wow. But, and it still doesn't say how it's attached. It must just be sticky stuff, I guess.
I think it must just be like some sort of like sticky something, because it doesn't seem.
And what's the name so people can search it up?
It's called VTech is the company. Virility Tech.
Virility Tech. Okay.
Virility Tech. And then I think it's just like their main thing that they make. It's called let's see, the Virility Patch. So
yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to send me one to try, but I don't like I have so many questions about how this tech would work and all this stuff. And like, if it is a sticky substance that holds it to your body, like peeling it off, like you think peeling off a Band-Aid on your arm.
There's like videos about it. So you can watch stuff online. I'm sure you can go to their website and like,
all right.
It looks to me so it's funny because they sell them in 4 packs of 4 patches, and like when I'm looking at the picture now, it almost looks like a condom looking like device. So maybe it's only meant for like,
oh, maybe it's a disposable, one-time use.
I can.
That would make sense where it is going to stick like a Band-Aid kind of thing. Wow. Yeah, you'd have to shave really well.
I go back to, you think ripping a Band-Aid hurts at times, or if you put it on a sensitive part where you don't have a lot of, or your nerve endings haven't been deadened a lot. Think about down there. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But not only
there's one
that,
thing.
like now I want to know if, especially if it's disposable and it's one-time use, what the price point is on it and how you go about. Because if this thing is controlled via an app on your phone, technically you would have to repair a new patch every time because it's going to be coded differently.
Oh, that's
I have
interesting.
no idea. So yeah,
I
you're
I,
right.
I don't know.
Probably.
V
Okay.
Tech or V, what is it called?
It's
Virility.
called Virility
Virility
Patch.
patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what's the company name?
It's called VTech is the company
Virility
name.
Medical. Virility
Yeah.
Medical. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, I got some
Mm.
questions for you. If you want to send us one, we'll play with it on the air.
Oh, you'll
I'm
do it on the
so
air, Aaron?
not
That's brave
confused.
of you.
Not
Hell
like
yeah.
that. No, I'm like I'll stick it to the back of my hand.
No.
Oh, well, then it's not going to be attached to the right nerves and stuff like that. Wow.
I know, but I
We'll
still
have to
want to see
see.
like how sticky is this substance because again, one more
Yeah.
thing that I don't know. I'm sure they thought of it because they've gone through all of this testing, as you say.
Yeah.
When you're having sex, you kind of sweat, and it's
Yeah.
got to be able to withstand sweat down there too and not come off.
Yeah.
So
That's a very good point. That's a good
like
point.
I
Okay.
want
I'm
to know
sure
how
that
they
I think that
accomplish
they've
all of these roadblocks.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we can also talk about this company, Lara DiCarlo. They also premiered a kind of interesting new thing this year. They called it the human mouth robot, but they called it the Baci Baci, which is kiss in Italian.
Yeah. And this might be the first year that that product is at the CES, but it's been out for a little bit because I know I've seen it. And
Maybe, but
yeah.
it was introduced to this year, this
Yeah.
specific Baci Baci, but it's entirely new category consumer tech for women's health. It's an intelligent robot that replicates the feel and motion of human lips and tongue. So kind of like their maybe first few products, but like if you guys could see a picture of it, it's literally like it looks kind of like I don't know, it's like a circular or oval shaped, and then I'm guessing you take the top off, and then on the inside it's got this like hole on top of like some I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a
Yeah, it's got a hole for suction thing.
per
So
section and
if
then nothing else. So it's like, it's just for this one thing.
we actually if you save the picture or something, you could share the screen and you could show a picture of it actually.
On my screen, can I share my
Yeah.
screen? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So let's see.
Kind of looks I don't know what like a big if you had a big chocolate Easter egg. That's kind of what it looks like a little bit to me.
Yeah.
And but then it's got a little hole in it for the clit. So I've always wondered because I don't see it as being very hands friendly because of the shape and everything. Like it doesn't have a handle, so you have to actually keep your hand on it in one place, which I thought was a little strange. So
Oh, I don't think I
It
can share my
actually
screen without stopping the video. I'd have to reshut Chrome down because I have to give some permission. So, anyways,
oh,
we can do it another time. But
okay.
but yeah, it's weird. It's a
I don't
weird
know.
looking thing.
Okay.
Then there's
Um,
another thing this year by Satisfyer, which is interesting. It's called the air blowing wand. So it's supposed to stimulate blowing air.
oh, instead of just
Kinda
the
cool.
suction on the
Yeah.
clit, it's gonna blow air. Yes. It's kind of funny.
So
Yeah, so Satisfyer. Okay, so Womanizer, and I think one of the Womanizer products was also at CES. I'm pretty sure. I don't know,
mhm.
last year, this year. So Womanizer was the first company that started with this clit suction kind of vibrators and things. And that was several years ago. Satisfyer came out. In fact, they had a lawsuit between the two of them for patent infringement and stuff like that. So, but now Satisfyer has a whole bunch of different suction products as well as some other just like a warming rabbit vibrator and stuff like that. And they're working on the apps again. Um, the I just blanked on the WeVibe was the first one that had the app controlled products. And now so many of them are doing, and Satisfyer is one of the ones working on those app control things. So, but Womanizer is like twice the price of Satisfyer, and they claim better technology. Da da da. I don't really know. I prefer the feel of the Satisfyer ones personally, but I know a lot of people who really love their Womanizer, and there are some really cool designs and things like that too. So, but yeah.
Okay,
You know,
So
you're up for another test run for both of them.
hell yeah, I'll definitely do that. I
oh
want to try.
I need to send you one of each and let you just figure it out.
yeah, actually, it would be good to have us. You can't have side by side because we only have one clit, but it would be really interesting to
I mean, you
compare
can do back to
the
back.
two things. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So this is a really interesting one too, but yeah, I mean, I just sent it in the group chat, but I'll definitely try anything. I want to try that controversial one. I want to try this one, and then the cool thing about this Air one is it seems like it's pretty reasonable price point. Like it seems like they're going to start selling it for $60 as opposed to like
Yeah.
some of the more expensive ones that like with this other company like the Osé, which is like $300.
Yeah, the Lara
So
DiCarlos are several $100s. Satisfiers are generally under about
yeah.
$100, which is pretty amazing.
So I just sent you guys a video, but this is another company that debuted at CES this year. It's a Norwegian company, but if you scroll down, I wish you guys could see my screen, but there's a video of it. But it's basically a self-controlled, like this is for the men. They called it the Handy US socket, but it's basically like a pocket pussy, but it's like it's automatic. You don't have to, and you can like charge it and it does all the work for you, as you can see in like the video.
Okay, so it's a stroker, like thinking a Fleshlight, but one that actually then strokes a cock. So you put it around the cock, and then it's going to have suction within it, kind of like vacuum stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, the interesting thing is that the Handy is also app controlled. Who
Mhm.
knew? Yeah, which
Yeah.
is going to be really, really interesting. And they claim that it's one size fits all
Yeah, that
because
was my
they're
question. Is how do you because this thing has to be
yeah,
like if you're gonna make it a one size fits all, it's got to be fucking bulky. It's got to be the size of my freaking laptop. And
yeah.
like having that and using it is one thing. Two, storing and taking care and like cleaning and all that seems like a
So
lot of
this
effort.
is really interesting. So this is
Yeah.
the article I sent you, but this is what they're saying in terms of like what this is for. And we kind of talked about this, but basically they're kind of, I think, putting their hopes in like one of the unique features of this is that the API in this allows third parties to make apps and software that can sync with Handy. So it's something that the sex tech community has leveraged by creating
Yeah.
plugins for existing games. So for example, like in the metaverse, this could be huge because this could be something that really stimulates the act of like sex,
Right.
and you can really personalize it and make it very kind of conform it to exactly how you want it to be. So
Well, and so what they're doing, and this is that they're so if you, for example, just watch porn and you're watching somebody fuck somebody else, then you're
right,
going to be able to
right,
coordinate
yeah,
this. So you're going to be feeling what you're watching,
exactly.
which, yeah, which is going to be really, I think, really freaking crazy when you then pair it also with the VR, because then you're going to be like
I
in the
know.
middle of it and
It's gonna lead
feeling
to the
it. So,
downfall of humanity.
that
Kind of.
it's a really scary thing. I'm actually with you on this, that
I mean,
there's the lines are getting so blurry between reality and virtual. We call it virtual reality, but it's not
No, it is.
reality. It's
Well,
but
it
we're
isn't,
already
but
right, but we call it that, right? We're already prepared for this to be another. So it is very interesting. And I don't know. I think I told y'all that once I was at one of I've never been to the CES, but at one of the, like, probably AVN or something, I did try the virtual reality goggles with porn. And so, because I've always said, oh, I'd like to have a cock and know what that feels like. Well, so the porn that I watched with these glasses was two women giving me head. Like I had a male body and I could look down and I could see this male body and I could see these women playing with my
Mm-hmm.
cock and stuff. It was so interesting. It was so bizarre. And I can only imagine that if I really did have a cock and I had that
Mm-hmm.
handy, I
Mm-hmm.
it would be hard. People used to say, like, men would joke, "Oh, if they were a dog and they could lick their own balls, they'd never leave the house." Well, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
little wondering whether that's gonna be an issue for a lot of people now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
survey after survey has come out since 2020 that like millennials and especially millennials in relationships are having less and less sex because they get distracted by video games or apps or TikTok or any of that shit. So they're not okay. So even then, you're starting to deteriorate procreation because that's what sex is primarily for.
Oh, no, no,
Now
no,
you're
no.
going
Sex
to
is
yes, it
not
is.
primarily no,
One,
people when they wanna have kids, they have sex. When people but people have sex all the
the
time.
human
I mean,
body
way
was
more.
designed to make another human body through one process and one process only.
Yes, but then we were designed to have pleasure, whether
I
or
get
not we're trying to have another baby. So, yeah.
Well, this is like, so basically, I mean, this is what Hardy wants to do. This is what this device wants to do. They want, as virtual reality becomes more commonplace in home, Handy wants to help people rethink how they use technology for pleasure. Now people
Right.
can feel what they see using Handy as a stroker is compatible with VR viewing technology. This means that device can be synced to mimic the motion that is happening on screen for a completely new sensation. I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally what you were saying. Like, they're putting their eggs in this basket, I'm guessing, So
Yeah,
all their eggs.
but
None of the fertilized eggs,
I mean,
I guess.
okay, Tina, as a single woman, what does that do to your dating pool of guys who might be a potential mate who all of a sudden find this and go, well, shit, I don't have to buy her dinner. I don't have to put up with her bitching. I don't have to put up with
I
periods.
mean,
Fuck
okay,
this.
but like,
I've got a fucking thing that will just take care of it for me, and I can put on these magic goggles that just show me whatever I want. So if I want to fuck Jem Jameson, oh look, I can. But like again, this another alien race is going to visit Earth in 1,000 years and go, man, there was a downfall. This species looked like it had everything under control on this planet and just disappeared. What the fuck happened? Well, they stopped making more fucking humans.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that, like, obviously there are other things about sex. Like, this only mimics just one single type of sex, like, act, and it'll probably, in a probably a good way, but not, again, like, nothing's ever gonna come that close or
But
so close. I mean,
you
yes,
said
yes.
earlier that everything is constantly evolving. It's
Right,
just
I'm
one
saying,
now. It's
you're
going to
absolutely
evolve
right.
to include
Maybe
everything
we
here
will
shortly.
evolve beyond, like, or maybe we will I don't know, figure out. I hope I never see it that, like,
Yeah.
we don't need each other for sexual pleasure, but I don't think that that's coming. I just don't see that. I mean, people are worried about the same thing in, like, the metaverse. So, like, the thing where, like, Mark Zuckerberg had that commercial where he was, like, coming home to, like, see his kids after work, but, like, he was, like, seeing them in the metaverse, and people were like, well, that's kind of fucked up. Like, it's not really like you coming home and seeing your children. Like, you're just literally like a computer, and your kids are computers, and like people are saying
Yeah.
it's because it's true. I think,
And I
like,
guess the one thing, when we started being able to watch movies at home, there was this whole big deal like, oh, theaters are going to go bad, and that once we had cable, the TV was going to go bad. And the fact is that there are parts of things that we still really like, and that people are designed to procreate, and we are designed to have pleasure, but we're also designed and we are programmed to want to bond with each other, to want more than just an orgasm, because that's been an argument for, decades, hundreds of years about vibrators. Well, if women can just use a vibrator, get it off, then what do they need a man for? Well, that's because a vibrator doesn't eat dinner with them, doesn't talk, doesn't give them a compliment, doesn't snuggle, doesn't it's just not human, and it won't. So if you want to talk about, that's where I think the problem is, that the sex dolls, those are going to get very close to human. They're going to use, and they already are, AI,
I
and
mean,
they're going to
all this
start
tech is
saying
going to.
things, and right. So those, I think, that is a problem. And so you're right. We need to emphasize and start really being real about what our priorities are and what we want from one another on a regular basis. And then it's going to be up to us to enforce some discipline, I suppose, right? To not indulge in technology all the time, to drag ourselves away from the video games. And yeah, you don't think that we
Good
have
luck
it.
with
So
that. Everybody, every single corner of this world is preaching. You can never overindulge. You just do whatever feels good to you. Don't worry about responsibilities or anything like that, or making the right choice. As long as it feels good to you, you're okay.
well, I don't know. I mean, we
Good luck
talk
with
about
that.
sex all the
Eventually,
time, but
that's
you know
going to
damn
bite
well.
everybody in the
Yeah. I mean, we never say that. Like, I don't, I think sexy is a really important part of life, but never would I be like, oh, this is the only part of life. That's absurd, right? There are all these different aspects. And so but hey, human, I don't know. We can't,
I mean, it is
people have to
scary. To
do.
me, it's like real. Like, I agree. Like, I think there's like entering this new era of tech. It's really, and everything. It's really weird. Like, it's really weird. It could potentially have like huge consequences on so many of our like day-to-day lives. But at the same time, like, it doesn't mean that we can't be. We should be scared to like innovate. I don't think that's you don't have an option. I think that this is like where the
Right.
world is going, and you have to be able to like, you know, find a way to mix what is real and what isn't in like a healthy way. I'm sure, I really do think the next 20 years of our lives are going to be taken up by this really huge question of like where what's real and where do we draw the line and stuff in tech. And so
Yeah. And I guess my thought would be, if we could make sexy more okay, more and information more accessible and in the real life, not in the virtual life, that would also help. Because part of the reason that the VR and everything flourished so much and that porn flourishes so much is because it is so prohibited. It is so taboo. It is something, people are not really they're not encouraged to find really happy, sexy, exciting, passionate experiences in quote real life. So we try to find it other ways. So I mean, okay, I'll get up on our little soapbox, but I really hope that part of what we're doing is helping encourage people. So, these things, I love the idea of trying these things and checking them out and using apps, but I want people to try and find the partner, somebody that they care about, like to really go and indulge with and to experiment with and to use them to enhance life, not simply allow us to retreat from life and from love, I guess. That's my
and I
little.
also think that along with this, innovating in sex specifically also has like good implications with people who have like disabilities or accessibility issues and stuff like that. So you can't only, like there are more fringe groups and stuff who are benefiting probably a lot from innovation in sex that we don't necessarily, know or understand or have any like ideas about. So,
and the fact is, COVID is still running rampant, and orgasm does help people fight infection 20% better. I mean, we really talking about healthy orgasms on a regular basis is a really important thing. And so in terms of sexual health and wellness, that should be a big one. And yet they're not even, everybody's afraid to say that, but it really is true. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I think.
Was there anything else, any other particular product? Oh, one thing, let's see. Hold on. Oh, there was a cock ring that also has an app and everything that I think it's called a signet ring that I think is pretty cool just because, Aaron, if you remember when I did the radio show on ESPN and right, one of the co-hosts wore a remote controlled vibrating cock ring. It was so much fun. It was so exciting. I love the idea that people can go out and men can be wearing this and their partner can basically be teasing them in a very, torturous, painfully pleasurable way and wearing that out and about. I think I'm excited. What was that show? The Ugly Truth, where Katherine
Yeah.
Heigl had that remote control panty thing. Like, I'm dying for a movie to have this, and it's going to be a guy wearing it and stuff. I think that's going to be tons of fun. So, yeah.
Yeah,
You would wear
and
that.
actually, the one that's wearable is also temperature controlled by your partner. Funnily, so you can control the heat of of not only the vibrations but the heat through the app. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Aaron, you would wear that if your wife wanted to, right?
Oh, hell yeah. But
Yeah.
again, I have issues. Or I have, I guess not contingency, but what do they call it? Like logistics
Hesitation?
questions about how
Oh.
it works and how
Yeah.
certain. I mean, obviously, when you put it on, you're probably pretty excited. But if you were to go out somewhere and you're out running errands or out at a dinner party or something like that, and your partner has it, obviously the blood isn't going to be flowing there constantly, so things contract and things expand and stuff like that. So how it stays on without completely being so tight it cuts off circulation is gonna, I don't know, it's a curious thing for me.
Oh, yeah. So it is, and that one I'm not sure, because some of them are more flexible and some of them aren't. So some of them, if you are very girthy, it's not going to be particularly comfortable. But you actually have to put them on when you're not excited. You have to use lube and put them on when I mean, maybe you have like a chubby, a little half something, but not when you're fully erect, because it won't go on then. So, yeah, but definitely the circumference can be an issue for some people. And that I know, heck, I know some couples where it's just been stretched so much that the silicone has broken, that it just couldn't withstand it. So that would be there. It's going to be a limited size thing, but otherwise it's going to, I mean, just like you have to wear something, you wear a ring on your finger. And sometimes if your fingers swell up, right, that can be uncomfortable. But generally it's not. That's what it's going to feel like. It's going to be a little bit of constriction, but not too much.
And this is
Yeah.
probably too many details that I wanted to divulge, and I'm not the only one who has this. My ring finger doesn't double in size at some point because of heat or cold.
Right.
mine does. Oh my god, when I drink,
It doubles, full on doubles.
Literally, this ring that I was wearing had to be removed by a PA, like a physician's assistant, with her surgical. Like, she didn't have to saw it off, but she had to use her like needle and thread to like get off, because I had drank so much and my fingers had expanded.
Only teeny.
I swear to God,
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying, but okay.
Right. No. I'm saying right. So, yeah, it is. So you probably want to have some kind of blood flow kind of going and whatever. And yeah, that would be interesting. And probably if you're completely soft, it might just fall off. That might be.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I
because
mean, who makes it? Satisfier? Satisfier, send us one.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that one by Satisfier? I didn't
Yeah,
even notice.
but it's got their logo on it.
Oh, okay. So the way that cock rings work is blood flows to the cock through the middle, and then it leaves the cock through the outside. So cock rings constrict the exterior. So all the blood goes in there and stays, which means once it's on and it's a little bit snug, it's probably going to keep you at a fairly, half mast, as I would say, generally anyway, which is probably what's going to keep it on. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Again,
all right. Well, we want to try it. Yes. I would definitely like to hear your take on that. So, all right. Hey, maybe we'll get one in time for our Valentine's special, where we're going to talk about all sorts of different gifts and things like that. So that'll be good.
Oh yeah, we
So.
have to make lists of everything we want to try out.
Yes. Oh, and so for you listener, like, if you're listening and you want some feedback or you want to hear about certain ones, then let us know what you're curious about and what you might be thinking about for Valentine's Day, because it's going to be here in about a blink of an eye. So let us know, because we're going to start working on our Valentine's issue sometime.
Or
very
if you have
soon.
tried something that went very, very wrong, and you want to warn the
Yes.
general public, hey, I bought this because I thought it would be sexy fun, and it turned out to be a trip to the ER because it doesn't work as well, let us know.
Yeah. And I do know buying from online from people you don't know is a little bit scary. So I will tell you that these are things I don't buy just on Amazon. I got to tell you, I go to a retail store. I am happy to pay a good price to know that it's going to be safe. It's not going to be something that's, I don't know, what do they call it? Like recertified or passed on, because there have been articles
certified
yeah.
pre-owned.
well, at different places
Yeah.
open. Yeah. And people who like workers who are open things and try. And anyway, so don't,
Yeah.
anyway. Don't
Well, the
talk
cool
about
thing
it.
about
Okay.
I think like something with like CES and why we're trying to highlight it is really it is the forefront of like sex tech. So it's kind of what
Yeah.
you'll be seeing in the next, I think, few years, kind
Yeah.
of trickle down to like the consumer level and stuff. But this is like kind of where we're going in the field of tech, sex, and health, because like health is a really important part of it, you know. And they
Well,
you know,
sexy is a huge part of health.
right.
Just, yeah, that's
So,
exactly. So,
yeah.
all right,
So
Aaron, you want to tell them where they can find us and
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, if if you also have any recommendations of or you want us to try or test out certain products before our Valentine's Day special, or you have a word of warning or anything that's on your mind, just hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. It's at Come With Us Podcast. On Twitter, it's at Come With Us Pod. DMs are open on all three of those. And then email, it's comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. That's comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Again, anything that's on your mind, shoot it our way, and we'll be happy to read it. We'll keep it private, of course, and not blast your information to the world. But
Unless
yeah,
you want us to, which case
yeah,
tell
unless
us.
you really want us to. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple or anything like that. But especially if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go and rate us 5 stars and leave a review so more people find us, because you found us somehow. So you want more people to find us. You're going to be on the ground floor. So like 5 years from now, you can go, oh yeah, I knew them when.
very
Yes.
true.
Everybody likes to be that person, that
We're
hipster.
the
I knew it before it was popular.
Mhm.
You can be that guy
Mhm.
or girl.
Or woman or boy or
No.
anything in between.
Let's stick
Anything
away
in
from like
between.
let's keep it adult, right?
Yes. But yeah, please do. And by the way, so you can find me at sexyedschool.com. Please go and sign up for my little love letters. I'll send you a love letter or so a week, and you can find all the different classes. And I've got Learn to Love, Oral and All right now, a live online class for women that is open for enrollment, and course will officially start on January 25th. So please go to sexyedschool.com, go check that out. And also, let's see. Wait, I was thinking, and I was going to tell you. I lost it. Damn, the brain stuff. Menopause. So crazy. But thank you all for being here with us as we do our first, basically our first recorded
Virtual
video
reality.
recorded.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
kidding,
even know,
yeah.
but our first on camera podcast episode. Hopefully this will be the first of many, and we'll have all sorts of fun with it. So we are so glad you're here. Oh, I knew there was something. So what I was going to tell you is, do you know, like we are like way up in India. We are very popular last week or a
Yeah.
couple of weeks or something like that in India. It's so interesting. So really, if you'd also send us a message, if you're watching this from wherever, some small town in Podunk, USA, or some big city in some other country or wherever, send us a message and let us know where you're watching from. So, and if you want, we would love to give you a shout out on here, but it really pleases us no end to know that we are international, right? Sexy is universal. It is international. And it's such a pleasure to join, to bring the world together, talking about healthy, happy, wonderful, sexy fun. So, and all the bare naked truth about love, sex, and relationships. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. I'm Beth, Beth Darling, your sexy genius from sexyedschool.com. Thank you, Aaron and Tina, for being here and for talking about all of this sexy fun stuff with me today.
Bye.
That was good.
Bye.
Do it again, Tina.
Bye.